Hey there, welcome back. This week, we're talking about how every single moment is an important part of your journey, of the evolution of your consciousness on this planet. And when you really embrace that, there's power and magic that gets unlocked and really supports you in whatever it is that you want to achieve in this world, whether that's living your life purpose or, yes, getting that car you want, right? So I wanted to share a little story with you about how and you can probably relate to this, can sometimes feel like the next moment is more important than the current moment. Whether the next moment is just getting out of the discomfort of this moment, or wanting to have the meal cooked, or have the next job opportunity, or our kids to graduate and go off to college so we can be free, or retire and feel free. Any of those things and every one of those things are ways to be out of the present moment, to be thinking about the future. And we miss so much there. So the story that I wanted to share with you is, it is about me and it's also about you. And I want you to really feel how being in the Smoky Mountains and away from everything and in this secluded area really slowed things down and really allowed me to sit and be with myself. And even through that, I woke up on Wednesday morning knowing that I wanted to leave the campsite and drive to the national park, to a place called Cades Cove, which is a beautiful 11-mile loop around the national park. And on Wednesdays, they do not allow cars to be inside the loop, so I was planning to ride my electric bike. And as I was getting packed up that morning, I was really experiencing this feeling of wanting to be somewhere else, wanting to be out of the moment, wanting to be at the park and experiencing the black bears, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to be in the area, because I had never seen a black bear up until that day. And so there was this feeling of like the next moment. I want the next thing to happen. But I was really sitting with it. I was really watching and observing my thoughts. And it was kind of amusing, actually. I was kind of curious and interested and a little bit amused by how my thoughts were sort of like going in this circular loop. But I bet that doesn't sound familiar at all, does it? So I noticed I was running behind, and that was a lot of what the thoughts were about. Running behind, I'm gonna miss things, I'm not gonna be able to see the bears, you're supposed to get there early in the morning. So as time passed and it got later and later, I began to sort of give up on the idea that I was gonna see black bears. We got a little bit turned around, not quite lost, but a little bit turned around. We had to stop for gas unnecessarily. And there was a little bit of irritation and frustration that I was watching. Although I was practicing kind of this detachment, right? There was also still this underpinning of wanting to be somewhere else. And what I really want to share with you is, as I detached, as I embraced the moments, I just surrendered, is truly what I did. I just surrendered. Like, this is this moment, and just be with it. As soon as I did that, I'm driving down the hill in the RV, and this giant black bear lumbers across the road. He was huge. And I'm going to be honest with you, it was a little surreal. I just paused for a second, and I took it all in. How each moment had led up to that moment. Every pause, every thought that caused me to even feel irritated that morning led me to that moment where the bear came to me, lumbered across right in front of me. And I paused and I just took that in. and to really, really surrender to the present moment. And then flashing forward, I got to the park and realized that because they weren't allowed to have cars inside the park, so all the cars were parked outside. So there was no parking anywhere, not for cars, definitely not for RVs. And so the feelings arose again, the thoughts arose again inside of me. And it's such a great opportunity. Those moments were such a great opportunity to practice this yet again. Just being present with it. Just being in that moment, just appreciating that moment and everything it had inside of it. Because those moments are what led to what happened next, which was this magical experience. If I had just been one moment later, one moment sooner, I wouldn't have arrived at the park entrance at just that time. And along comes Yo-Yo Ma, one of the most famous cellists in the world, if not the most famous cellist. Came along in this vehicle. I didn't know who was inside of the vehicle, and they asked us to get off the roadway, and they let this car inside the park. And I was a little bit, again, like, why are they letting this, car inside the park? I thought cars weren't allowed inside, and we had to pause behind the car as it slowly descended the hill. And I was able to, again, watch my thoughts, surrender to that moment, just be still with that moment, remembering that every moment that led me to the bear, was also leading me to this experience. I didn't know who was in the car, but out stepped Yo-Yo Ma, and he got out, talked to people. Now, I would not have recognized him, from anyone else up until that moment. But when he got his cello out and played an impromptu concert for anyone who just happened to be by, I was so moved. I became emotional. And it really landed me. It really landed me and grounded me to the power behind surrendering to each of those moments and remembering, not just surrendering, but remembering that each moment that happens, all of my irritations, being turned around, going to the gas station unnecessarily, all of those things, running quote unquote late, got me to this magical moment that unfolded with Yo-Yo Ma. There were people who were sobbing hysterically because they happened across him. It was truly, truly a magical and powerful moment. And this is the power of surrendering, of being in the moments, of appreciating each moment and understanding that they build to something. They build to those magical things that happen in our lives, that unfold if we just stop and be open to them in this present moment. So if I leave you with anything this week, it's that the present moment, when you pause and you take it in, when you be with it, when you remember that it has power and it's exactly where you need to be, not in the future and not in the past, it will bring you magic when you surrender and are open to it. So that's your challenge this week. I want you to take a moment right now and reflect on how every moment has gotten you to this moment and what is the magic that happens next. I want to challenge you to see some magic. Be open to magic coming to you. Good luck, and I'm looking forward to hearing back from you how this goes. Have an amazing week. Bye.